Have you ever been rejected so deeply that it made you question your worth? Imagine putting your heart into something, be it a relationship, a career opportunity, or a dream, only to be met with silence, dismissal, or a cold no. Rejection stings. But what if I told you that rejection isn't the end? It's actually the beginning of something powerful. In this video, we're diving deep into timeless Stoic wisdom to explore how the great philosophers turned moments of rejection into stepping stones for growth, clarity, and strength. From Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, the Stoics didn't just endure rejection, they mastered it. This isn't just about moving on, it's about rising above. Each of the 13 lessons will challenge your mindset, shift your perspective, and equip you with tools to transform pain into progress. So before we begin, ask yourself, what has rejection taught you so far? Drop your experience or favorite takeaway in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Now take a deep breath, lean in, and let's learn how to turn rejection into your greatest advantage. Number 1, let them fade, you rise. When you're met with silence or disregard, don't chase it. Choose dignity over desperation. Being ignored can hurt, but reacting with grace shows incredible strength. It's not about pretending it doesn't affect you. It's about deciding it won't define you. Think of it this way. When someone excludes or dismisses you, they're revealing more about their values than yours. Choosing not to respond or seek their validation is a quiet but powerful act of self-respect. It says, I don't need to shrink to be seen. Rather than getting tangled in negativity, redirect your energy to things that fuel your spirit. Spend time on passions that challenge and inspire you. Surround yourself with people who see your worth, and most importantly, nurture the relationship you have with yourself. That's where your true power grows. Yes, rejection or neglect can sting, but it can also be the very thing that pushes you toward transformation. Every time you resist the urge to prove your worth to someone who overlooks it, you become more rooted in your own value. And here's the truth. Being ignored isn't always a loss. Sometimes it's a redirection, a chance to focus your attention where it actually counts. The more you invest in your own growth, the less room you have for bitterness. Let silence be a space where your confidence echoes loudest. Number 2, respond with strength, not emotion. Have you ever felt your heart race after being dismissed or ignored? That wave of emotion, anger, sadness, even desperation, rises quickly. But what if you didn't have to be swept away by it? What if you could meet rejection not with reaction, but with quiet strength? Stoicism teaches that emotional control is not about suppressing feelings, but mastering them. When someone overlooks you or shuts you out, it's easy to feel wounded. But rather than lashing out or chasing validation, the Stoic response is to pause, reflect, and rise above. You are not defined by how others treat you. You're defined by how you respond. Ask yourself this, is this moment really about them, or is it revealing something deeper within me? Often the sting of rejection cuts so deeply because it touches our own insecurities. Recognizing this truth gives you power. It allows you to meet the situation with clarity instead of confusion. Let rejection become your reminder, not of weakness, but of growth. Instead of fueling your emotions, redirect that energy inward. Focus on building habits that center and uplift you. Journal your thoughts. Pursue a goal that lights you up. Take a walk and clear your mind. Every small step away from reaction is a giant leap toward mastery. Here's the truth. Calmness in the face of rejection isn't weakness. It's strength disguised as silence. It's refusing to let someone else dictate your emotional state. And this inner steadiness, it radiates. People respect those who don't beg for approval, who carry themselves with quiet confidence. As you continue down this path, you'll notice something powerful. Rejection no longer shakes you. Instead, it sharpens you. It teaches you patience, resilience, and self-respect. You become less reactive and more intentional. And in that space between stimulus and response, you begin to discover who you really are. Number 3, remove them from your mind. Have you ever been haunted by a rejection that keeps replaying in your mind? Letting go isn't about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about freeing yourself from the grip it has on your peace. Detachment, when practiced with intention, becomes a powerful tool for healing and growth. Start by recognizing what happened. Acknowledge the sting, but don't dwell in it. Just as a seasoned sailor uses rough seas to navigate, not sink, you too can use rejection to propel yourself forward. It's not the end of the story. It's a redirection towards something better suited for you. You held the door open for them, heart wide, expectations high. They walked through without looking back. For a moment you stood there, hurt, confused. Then you turned and found another door behind you, one you'd never noticed before. You open it and light pours in. Not everyone is meant to walk with you. Some are only meant to teach you how strong you are when you walk alone. Think of rejection not as a wall, but a signpost. It's often the universe's way of guiding you to unexplored opportunities. Instead of spiraling into overthinking, channel your energy into something meaningful. Read a book that stretches your perspective. Try a new sport that challenges your limits. Volunteer for a cause that reminds you of your value. These activities don't just fill time, they enrich your soul and rebuild your confidence. Rejection also invites us to reassess who we keep close. Surround yourself with people who genuinely support and uplift you. When you're in the company of those who inspire you, conversations become more than just words. They become fuel for progress. Share your dreams, listen to theirs, and grow together. Here's a crucial truth. The person or opportunity that rejected you does not define you. Your worth doesn't decrease because someone couldn't see it. What truly matters is how you rise from that moment. Let rejection sharpen your focus, deepen your self-awareness, and move you closer to who you are meant to become. And remember, healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about learning to walk forward without its weight. The more you invest in yourself and your future, the less space rejection takes up in your mind. Eventually, you'll look back and realize it was a turning point, not a defeat. Number 4, demonstrate your value. Imagine yourself overlooked in a meeting, passed by for a promotion, or dismissed by someone you respect. It stings. But what if, instead of shrinking, you use that very moment to rise? Rejection isn't a verdict on your worth. It's a challenge to step into your potential with even greater clarity. When someone fails to see your value, let your actions speak louder. Don't react with resentment. Respond with excellence. Take initiative, lead a project, or pour energy into a passion that showcases your abilities. Your true value isn't defined by fleeting opinions, but by your consistency, creativity, and courage to keep going. Rejection can feel like a door slammed shut, but in reality, it's often the universe redirecting you to a better opportunity, one more aligned with your strengths. Instead of obsessing over what didn't happen, ask yourself, what can I create from this? Then take that first step toward it. Surround yourself with people who recognize and amplify your light. Engage in spaces that challenge you to grow and support you when you stumble. Every time you're dismissed, use it as fuel, not fire to burn others, but energy to build something stronger within yourself. And finally, give yourself grace. Strength isn't just found in pushing forward. It's also in the quiet moments where you choose compassion over criticism, reflection over reaction. The path to becoming your best self isn't always smooth, but each rejection smooths the stone and shapes your edge. Use it, own it. Let every no become a louder yes to your evolution. Rejection, then, becomes not a setback, but a silent mentor. It teaches you to detach your worth from the opinions of others and instead invest it in your growth, purpose, and inner power. The more you learn from what tries to hold you back, the more unstoppable you become. Number 5, cut off contact. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's one of the most powerful tools in your emotional toolkit, especially when you're dealing with rejection. Imagine this. You've been ignored or turned down. Your first instinct might be to fix things, to reach out, to explain, to try and bridge the gap. But this is where you flip the script. Embrace silence. This isn't about playing games or manipulating outcomes. It's about reclaiming your emotional space. When you choose not to react, not to flood them with messages or chase closure. You're doing something far more powerful. You're pausing. And this pause isn't just for them, it's for you. It gives you the time to recalibrate, to reflect, and to remember that your worth has never been defined by someone else's approval. I learned this firsthand. After experiencing rejection from someone I deeply respected, my impulse was to reach out, explain myself, and fight to be understood. But instead, I chose silence. At first, it felt like surrender, but as days passed, I began to feel stronger, not weaker. That silence gave me the space to realize I hadn't been asking for connection, I had been begging for validation. Walking away without a word wasn't weakness. It was the first step toward self-respect. A period of no contact isn't cold. It's a boundary. It says, I respect myself too much to chase what doesn't respect me back. This mindset isn't just stoic, it's empowering. It radiates self-worth and quiet confidence. In today's world of instant replies and constant communication, silence becomes magnetic. It shows you're not desperate for attention. Instead, you're grounded, full of purpose, and too focused on your path to linger in spaces where you aren't valued. Your silence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've chosen to care about yourself more. And even if that silence never brings them back, it brings you back to your power, your peace, and your potential. You're not punishing anyone. You're prioritizing your healing. That's a level of emotional maturity many never reach. And when you move forward from this place of calm strength, you'll find yourself no longer needing what once made you feel small. Number 6, prove them wrong. Imagine a young artist rejected by a gallery and told their work lacks depth. Instead of retreating into doubt, they double down, spending nights refining their technique, experimenting with style, and pouring their soul into every stroke. Months later, that same artist holds a solo exhibition, not at the original gallery, but at one twice as prestigious. That rejection, it became the spark that lit the fire. This is what proving them wrong truly looks like. Not with noise, but with quiet, relentless growth. Rejection can cut deep, especially when it questions your talent, effort, or identity. But in those moments, you're handed a choice. Either internalize the doubt or use it as rocket fuel. Let the doubt sharpen your focus, not shake your foundation. If someone tells you you're not capable, don't argue. Let your success be the evidence. The real power comes when you stop trying to impress others and start pushing yourself past your own limits. Every step you take to improve, whether seen or unseen, is a silent declaration that you're evolving. Growth doesn't need an audience, it just needs intention. And in time, you'll realize that the greatest transformation wasn't in proving them wrong. It was in discovering how right you were about yourself all along. So don't just chase goals to change someone's opinion. Build a life that reflects your worth so clearly, no one's doubts, not even your own, can dim it. Because when you rise from rejection with grace, strength, and skill, you're no longer proving them wrong. You're proving you've been right to believe in yourself all along. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped waiting for approval and started acting like the version of yourself you've always wanted to be? What if the rejection you feared was actually the doorway to a version of you no one, not even you, expected? Number 7, go out and have fun. Rejection has a way of shrinking our world, making it feel smaller, colder, and more isolating. But here's the truth. One of the most effective antidotes to that emotional contraction is expansion. Go out, do something unexpected. Chase joy not as a way to escape rejection, but as a conscious decision to keep living fully. Fun isn't frivolous, it's fuel. Engaging in uplifting activities is more than just a temporary distraction. It's an act of healing and self-assertion. When you immerse yourself in laughter, creativity, movement, or exploration, you send a powerful message to yourself. I still matter. My life is still vibrant. That mindset breaks the emotional grip rejection can have, reminding you that one person's opinion doesn't define your entire story. I remember a time I felt deeply overlooked, professionally and personally. I could have let that weigh me down, but instead I booked a weekend trip to a nearby town. I wandered streets I'd never seen before, tried new food, met strangers, and laughed more than I had in weeks. That trip didn't erase the rejection, but it helped me reclaim my energy. I didn't feel stuck anymore. I felt alive, curious, and reconnected with the world. Another way to reframe rejection is by reinvesting in your inner circle. Spend time with people who remind you of your worth, those who laugh with you, challenge you, and truly see you. Whether it's a game night, a walk in nature, or just a deep conversation, shared experiences remind you that your value is constant, even when others fail to acknowledge it. So here's your reminder. Don't pause your joy because someone paused their interest in you. Keep exploring, keep dancing, laughing, creating, connecting. Life doesn't stop for rejection, and neither should you. Ask yourself, what's something new, exciting, or meaningful I can do today that moves me forward? Then go do it, and let joy lead the way. Number 8, elevate through self-development and connection. Picture yourself at a gathering, surrounded by people, yet feeling like a shadow on the wall. It's easy to interpret that moment as a failure or a sign of insignificance. But what if that uncomfortable silence is actually a signal to grow? Rejection, in its rawest form, can serve as one of life's most honest teachers. Instead of chasing validation from those who overlook you, begin investing in the person you want to become. When others don't see your worth, it's an invitation to refine it for yourself. True social status doesn't come from titles or popularity. It grows from competence, consistency, and character. Start with your passions, whether it's learning a new language, committing to regular workouts, or deepening your professional skills. Each effort you make becomes a layer of credibility. These actions compound over time, forming the foundation of your social influence. When you're grounded in your own growth, others begin to take notice. Not because you're demanding attention, but because your presence speaks for itself. Let me share a personal reflection. During a time in my life when I felt completely overlooked, professionally and socially, I chose to go inward. I signed up for a public speaking course and began posting weekly reflections on topics I cared about. I didn't expect a response, but over time, people began to engage. Some messaged me saying my words resonated. That season taught me a critical lesson. You don't need a crowd to validate your progress. Sometimes the quiet work you do behind the scenes builds the loudest legacy. Another powerful way to rebuild from rejection is to serve others. Join causes that matter to you, attend events aligned with your values, or offer help in spaces where your skills are needed. Giving back doesn't just build your network, it strengthens your sense of purpose. And that inner purpose has a way of shining outward, attracting the right kind of people into your orbit. Lastly, remember this. Growth that's rooted in authenticity creates a reputation that outlasts trends. Elevating your social status isn't about playing the game louder, it's about playing it wiser. Instead of trying to be seen, work on seeing yourself more clearly. When you focus on becoming someone you deeply respect, the world begins to reflect that respect right back at you. Number 9, act as if they don't exist. Imagine you're walking through a bustling market. People pass by, some acknowledge you, others don't. Now ask yourself, would you stop walking every time someone ignored you? Likely not. Life is the same. When someone chooses to ignore you, be it out of pride, distraction, or indifference, the most liberating thing you can do is to keep walking. Not with bitterness, but with purpose. This isn't about pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing they no longer deserve a seat at the table of your mental space. Acting as if they don't exist doesn't mean erasing them from reality. It means erasing their influence over your peace. You stop replaying the silence, the cold looks, or the passive avoidance. Instead, you turn inward. What part of you still seeks approval from someone who no longer engages? That's the part that needs attention, not them. When you redirect your energy towards self-respect and growth, their silence becomes irrelevant. Your life becomes louder, richer, and more focused, not because you've silenced others, but because you've started listening to yourself. From personal experience, I once poured too much effort into being seen by someone who clearly chose to look elsewhere. It drained me. But the moment I decided to stop performing for their attention, everything shifted. I started putting that energy into improving my craft, deepening meaningful friendships, and building emotional resilience. Ironically, when I stopped trying to be noticed, I became more visible to myself and to those who truly mattered. So the real power lies in choosing where your attention goes. When you treat someone's indifference as neutral, not hostile or personal, you reclaim control. You become the curator of your mental landscape. You stop chasing answers and start building momentum. Their silence no longer dictates your worth. Your actions do. Now take it a step further. Transform that space they used to occupy into something useful. Fill it with goals, plans, experiences, and people that expand you. Learn something new, launch a project, or nurture relationships that reciprocate. In this act, you're not just moving on, you're moving upward. And finally, ask yourself, what might I achieve if I stop giving my energy to those who choose not to see me? That question alone can be a turning point. Rejection loses its grip when you realize you never needed permission to shine in the first place. Number 10, give them the silent treatment. Silence isn't revenge, it's wisdom in action. When someone disrespects or dismisses you, your silence becomes a canvas for dignity, not punishment. It's not about withholding words to hurt them. It's about recognizing that not every situation deserves your voice. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all, not out of anger, but out of clarity. This kind of silence is not void of emotion, but full of intention. It's not fueled by coldness, but by control. When you choose silence, you're not avoiding conflict, you're rising above it. You're demonstrating that your peace isn't available for disruption. You're telling the world, I'm not ignoring you, I'm choosing myself. In a noisy world where everyone rushes to defend, explain, or retaliate, silence is rare, and in that rarity lies power. Unlike acting as if someone doesn't exist, which is about removing them from your mental space, this silent treatment is about self-containment. It's about not leaking your energy into conversations that go nowhere. You're not running, you're rooted. You're not lashing out, you're listening to your own inner compass. In this version of silence, you're not withdrawing from the world, you're refining who gets access to your emotional world. From a practical standpoint, it also forces reflection. When you stop responding, you remove the stimulus others might use to manipulate or provoke. You interrupt cycles of drama, and that pause, awkward for them, empowering for you, often speaks louder than confrontation ever could. And here's the deeper truth. The silent treatment isn't for them, it's for you. It's your way of creating a pause between stimulus and response, between hurt and healing. In that pause, you get to recalibrate, to decide who you want to be in the face of disrespect. Do you want to react or evolve? So ask yourself, what does my silence protect? Often, it guards the most precious thing you own, your peace. And when you protect your peace, you grow stronger, wiser, and far less swayed by the chaos of others. Number 11, don't beg for attention. Let's be clear. Attention that isn't freely given isn't worth chasing. People either value your presence or they don't. And when they don't, every extra effort you make to be seen only reinforces the power imbalance. You may not realize it, but constantly trying to be noticed sends a message, not to them, but to yourself, that your value is dependent on their recognition. This is where many people lose their footing. They interpret being overlooked as a challenge to prove themselves, when in reality, it should be a filter. If someone doesn't appreciate your presence, let their indifference speak louder than any excuse you invent for it. Don't rationalize it. Don't try to fix it. Just observe and adjust. People with self-respect do not chase validation. They move where the energy is mutual. They invest in places where they are valued without asking. They understand that silence from others is sometimes life's way of redirecting them to environments where their value is recognized without persuasion. Begging for attention is the fastest way to lose it entirely. Instead of obsessing over who isn't paying attention, redirect your focus to yourself. Build your skills. Strengthen your character. Connect with those who actually engage. The right people won't need convincing. They'll just show up. If someone truly cares, they won't need a reminder. If they don't, your silence won't bother them, and that's your answer. Number 12, Don't take it personally. Picture this. You're walking into a room, greet someone enthusiastically, and get nothing in return. Your brain starts racing. Did I do something wrong? Are they upset with me? Hours later, you find out they were just distracted, maybe dealing with bad news or caught in their own head. What felt like rejection wasn't about you at all. That's the tricky part of human interaction. We often absorb other people's actions as reflections of our own worth. But in reality, most people are too busy dealing with their own stress, self-doubt, or distractions to be making calculated statements about you. Their silence, cold tone, or forgetfulness might have everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. It's a form of emotional discipline to pause and remind yourself, not everything is about me. That shift in thinking can save you from hours of unnecessary rumination. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how much mental space you give their behavior. In many cases, the best gift you can give yourself is neutrality. Now, there are moments when you'll sense that the action was personal. Maybe someone intentionally excludes you or criticizes you. Even then, especially then, how you respond defines you more than what they did. You don't need to carry their judgment. Let their opinions stay where it belongs, with them. From personal experience, the more I've stopped internalizing people's distance or rejection, the lighter I've felt. I've learned to replace "what did I do wrong?" with "they must be going through something." That one sentence changed my relationships, my confidence, and my peace of mind. So next time someone's silence or indifference tempts you to spiral, hit pause, breathe, choose curiosity over assumption. You owe yourself a life not dictated by the unpredictable moods and filters of others. That's not indifference. It's emotional intelligence. Number 13, don't chase after closure. Picture this. Someone walks out of your life without warning. No explanation, no conversation, just silence. You replay moments in your head, scan texts for hidden meanings, and wonder what you did wrong. The ache for answers consumes you, and all you want is one final conversation to tie things up neatly. But the reality? Closure doesn't always arrive with clarity. We often believe that peace requires understanding, that if we could just hear the why, we'd be able to move on. But closure is rarely that clean. People sometimes leave not because you deserve it, but because they can't confront their own shortcomings. Their silence isn't always about you. It's about them. Their avoidance, immaturity, or fear doesn't mean you're unworthy of answers. It just means they don't know how to give them. Waiting for someone else to validate your pain or offer resolution can trap you in a loop. You begin to think healing is impossible without their explanation. But the hard truth is, you may never get it, and that has to be okay. Chasing closure keeps you tethered to a past that's no longer serving you. The peace you seek isn't behind their response. It's within your own decision to let go. Your time, energy, and dignity are too valuable to be spent begging for honesty from someone who already walked away without offering it. Letting go without closure is not weakness. It's a radical act of self-respect. It's choosing to prioritize your emotional well-being over someone else's inability to communicate. I've been there too, hoping for that final message, that one conversation that would make it all make sense. It never came. What I eventually learned was that closure wasn't something I had to wait for. I created it by accepting what happened and deciding that I didn't need their words to heal. The silence became my answer, and the act of moving forward became my closure. So if you're stuck waiting on someone to explain their actions, stop. Release yourself from that grip. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is close the chapter yourself, without permission, without apology, and without the perfect ending. Rejection isn't a wall. It's a doorway to resilience, clarity, and personal evolution. Through these 13 Stoic lessons, you've seen how setbacks can be reframed as setups for something greater. Whether it's learning to detach, finding purpose in solitude, or proving your worth through quiet action, each moment of rejection is a chance to rise higher. It's not about seeking revenge or validation. It's about growth. You don't need to be acknowledged to be valuable. Remember, your strength lies in your response. Use rejection not as a reason to break down, but as the fuel to build something unshakable within you.